I really made a decision just over a year ago.
Right.
To date and to go on a dating site and to take it seriously. But that was the first time I've really gone, this is a decision I'm making. My son moved in with his dad, back to that. So when he was 9, so for the first time I had time.
You had freedom.
I had no time.
Yeah, you had the time. Yeah, of course.
No
and
time.
we kind of mentioned this, but you said one of your videos that kind of people got to know you by was you went on 29 dates.
Well, it was 31 by the end of the year.
31
So I did
dates.
like a dating rap. Have you seen that trend on TikTok?
No, I haven't. What is it?
Oh, when you say like, oh, my dating rap to 2023, it's quite popular. And then people...
I don't really watch TikTok. I just post and I get off.
Do you?
It
Well, people tend to do it with a pie chart saying, oh, I went on this many dates, I met this many on Hinge, this many in the wild.
Is it mainly women or guys who do that?
Many women, I think.
Yeah,
Have I seen men do it?
They wouldn't do that online.
Yeah, mainly women.
Yeah.
And yes, I did a video because it was before Christmas and I'd been on 29.
Yeah.
That I could count. I kind of had to go back through them. It was 31 by the 31st of December.
And we're talking 31 first dates, not 31 dates, 31 first dates.
Yeah, because a few of those I went on second and third dates with, yeah.
So like, if we're talking dates in general, that could be 45.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
I know you said it felt like a lot. It didn't feel like a lot.
I think meeting 31 people in 1 year, that is a lot.
Yeah, honestly, it didn't feel like it.
Because
It's like a couple of hours a week.
Yes. Okay. Think of it this way. We know many people sleep together on the first date.
Oh, yes. Well,
so if you thought, okay, well, out of that 31, let's say you slept, not even with all of them, let's say 2/3 of that.
Well, the
That's like
criticism,
23
so when you go
guys
back
in
to
1
that
year.
post that I did,
Yes.
it blew up. And I was really surprised by the comments.
Okay.
The comment section, you'll have to go through it, is...
Tell me some of the ones that stood out to you.
Oh, well, one, a lot of criticism about my age. I don't understand, from men.
Right.
So the comments from women were overwhelmingly positive.
What were the women saying? What were the men saying?
Oh, just like, well done for putting yourself out there.
Okay.
How do you not get disheartened by it? I wish I had the positivity that you have.
Yeah. True.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the comments from men were overwhelmingly negative.
Right.
Overwhelmingly negative. So lots of criticism about my age. How is a 36-year-old single mother getting that many dates? Lots of that.
Right.
And lots saying, oh, you slept with 30 men in a year. I don't sleep with any first dates. So that was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
No judgment on people who do. I don't really care what people do.
Yes.
But I never have done. And that was the biggest surprise, that men assume that I've slept with the first dates.
So it's interesting because before we got rolling, we were talking about terminology. And I'm not saying it's right for them to assume that, but I think men know, or I think men are starting to look for the terminology that maybe some women will say online about their dating experience. So she'll say, I went on 30 dates, but she won't say, I slept with 20 of them. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
And so I think sometimes, and I'm like I said, I'm not saying it's right to make this assumption, but I think sometimes when you say something in a certain way, where maybe you live in a culture where, okay, we know a lot of people do sleep with someone on the first date, people can apply that standard to you and it may not apply to you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I was surprised because this is naive of me. I didn't really think people slept with each other on a first date. I can't fathom doing that.
Yeah,
I know. You're smirking as if...
It happens. I'm like, where you been? Where you been?
No, I can't imagine meeting a complete stranger off the internet for a couple of hours for a drink and being like, I want to go. I know.
How long?
That's so... I cannot imagine doing that.
How long do you talk to them before you meet with them?
It varies. I try not to have a set routine.
Not a set routine, but like, are you the kind of person that you're like, oh yeah, we've matched. Should
on
we
my
like
dating
get
site,
to know each other first?
It does say I like a date quickly. I'm not much of a chit chatter.
And I think that's a big part as to why that is like so outlandish for you. Because some people will match and they'll be talking every day for 4 weeks.
I know.
And then they'll meet. So at that point, there's a much higher level of rapport.
Yes.
To almost permit
yes.
the physical intimacy to happen. Does that make sense?
Yes. You feel like you know them. Well, the problem is texting, and this is another dating person who says this, I don't want to copy, but she says it creates a false sense of intimacy. So that's why I don't particularly like texting much, because then you think you like that person and it's almost like you build up a little fantasy in your head of them.
Yeah, I think
real people are different. We look different. We move different. Our mannerisms are different.
You only know them through one realm, which is the
Yeah, and you infer
Communication.
your own tone to a text.
Yeah, and then
You
meet
read it
person
in a
and
voice that
the
you want
rhythm's
to read
different.
it in.
Yeah,
And you
so
create
true.
this little fairy tale about, oh, he's saying it like this and he's saying it, when really he's just saying, how's your day?
So out of those 31 first dates, what did you learn about men and what did you learn about yourself?
Oh gosh, I've learned so much actually about dating. I think I used to be quite an anxious dater or person in relationships.
Okay.
And I think you build up such a resilience when you go on lots of dates.
Resilience to what?
Rejection.
Yeah.
The nerves of meeting a new person.
Very true.
The nerves of going out there and meeting a new person and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
I'm now quite like okay with it.
Yes.
And I don't know, I've just become a lot more confident from it.
Great.
I am who I am. I look the way I look.
Yeah.
My life is the way it is.
Vanessa Kirby. She looks like Vanessa Kirby.
Some people say that. No, because now people are going to say, no, she doesn't. I don't say I look like Vanessa Kirby. Other people do.
Other people say that. My producers, that was the first thing he said. That was the first thing he said.
I know, she's prettier than me, but it's a compliment. It's a compliment. I accept the compliment. But no, you get a lot more confident in yourself. I do anyway. My boundaries have firmed up massively over the last year.
In regards to what? Give us an example.
What you accept in terms of the talk before a date, preparation for the date, actions on the date, behavior after the date. I think going into dating naively, you assume that other people put importance on the same things that you do.
Sure.
So going on a date means I'm doing it because I would like to meet somebody, or going on a date, I get ready and I'm putting effort in. I wouldn't go on a date without those intentions, but some people do. And just because you think something's important, like they're taking you to a nice restaurant or they're being really lovely and polite, they could just be like what they do. They could just have money and go into a restaurant is nothing for them.
Oh, I see what I mean.
So the importance you put on dating isn't necessarily the importance that other people put on dating.
Or I don't disagree with you, but it could also be that maybe the areas in which you make a conscious effort to make an effort in, they make an effort in other areas.
Yeah, everyone's version of effort is different.
Right.
Which is why, again, in dating talk, effort is a word that's used a lot.
Right.
And one person's effort, could be that they've got childcare that night. They've been up since 4 because they've got an early job or they work 2 jobs. So just going out is the effort.
Right. Very true.
And we think that someone taking us somewhere nice is effort. But again, if it's a person who's earns a lot of money.
Could that not still be effort though? Because they're still taking you out.
Oh yeah, of course, but it's not as much effort. Effort to them might be freeing up 3 hours because they are super busy with work, not necessarily where they're taking you.
Right, I see what you're saying.
So everyone's version of effort is different.
I get that. I guess the reason I said that could still be effort is because if you're just looking at it monetarily, just the financial aspect, then yeah, sure, proportionately, that may be nothing to one guy. For one guy, it might be like, actually, £120 is actually a lot of money.
It's a huge chunk of money.
So
it's a lot of money to me.
Yeah. So, but the effort of them still at least taking you out, at least I expect dressing up, etc., conversing with you, like, all of that.
It could be, but that could be normal. I think it depends where you are as well. London dating is very going out a lot. That's kind of a normal thing.
Yeah.
Quite different to town dating. So it depends where you are on location as well. I think that plays a part.
Do you prefer like being in the city or do you prefer like a country bumpkin in terms of dating and stuff?
Do you know what? I actually prefer city life nowadays. I tend to go for dates. I live near Manchester.
Yeah.
Into Manchester. And because I'm a southerner up there, I tend to attract southerners.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Did they really like, oh, she's a southerner, so like, yeah.
Oh, there's a big north-south divide. Yeah, I've really noticed it. I've put on my dating profile a voice note saying I'm a southerner.
Do they really care that much up there?
So I didn't really notice. I've lived up there for 18 years, up north. I didn't really notice the divide until I started dating.
Wow.
And I noticed it you'll start talking, and if I don't mention that I'm from the south, immediately send a voice note. Oh, you're posh. Oh, you sound really educated.
You are quite well spoken. Is that because you're southern though?
I feel like it's just because I'm southern. I don't know. I don't just.
Nah, come on. You know how some London people chat.
I'm not from London, so yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're necessarily posh.
But no, I'm from a council estate in Basingstoke. One parent family. There's nothing posh about me.
Yeah.
And I find, I don't know, this isn't going to go down very well, but I find a lot of Northern men are a little bit intimidated. I get a lot of questions like, oh, you seem really educated. And I'm like, I just went to university, like lots of people did. Or just lots of jokes about being Southern on the date. Lots of jokes. Oh, it's because you're Southern. And when someone makes a joke quite a few times,
sure,
it's sort of more of a resentment.
Yeah, could be interesting.
I get that a lot, and it's just a bit like tiresome. That's how I feel. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, we understand. I'm not from here.
Do you think it's maybe because they think you have expectations on the kind of man you would want to be with, and they're like, maybe that's just not me?
A lot of assumptions, yeah. I get a lot of assumptions, a lot of questions. Did you go to private school?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No. Not everyone from the South that lives in a country manor.
Lives in a castle.
Lives in a castle.
Just the royal family.
Stables.
It's just the royal family.
You know?
Interesting.
I find that a little bit intimidated by it. And I try and say like, oh no, I'm from, you feel like you're justifying yourself. Oh no, I'm from a council estate. And they're like, oh no, but they're not the same, are they? Yeah.
Interesting. What's something you'd like to ask or bring to conversation? Is there something you want to talk about?
Well, the thing that going back to that dating reel that I did.
Yes.
The thing that we kind of touched on it is I would openly say before I did that reel that, I date a lot and I date. And now I'm I don't lie, but I
Reserved.
Don't give the information that I go on lots of dates.
Sure.
And it's confused me as to why men get so annoyed, even angry that I'm going on dates.
Well, I don't know why men who don't know you get angry. That's just the internet.
Well, that's the internet. There's a lot of angry men on the internet. Well, and women, I'm sure.
Yeah. In regards to maybe a guy you're on a date with and you go, yeah, I go on loads of dates.
Yeah, like let's say I mentioned, so they do say, do you date a lot sometimes? And like, oh, here and there. Because I feel like if I said, yeah, like one every couple of weeks, or they'd go like, oh no.
One every couple of weeks? I think that's crazy. I think men value a woman who, in their head, is sexually selective.
But again, it's that assumption that you're sleeping with them. It's wild to me.
I know, but I think sometimes men apply the standard of, okay, a guy wouldn't go on a date with a girl that he wouldn't be physically intimate with. That's why he's on the date.
It's really opened my eyes.
Right?
To first dates.
So it's like, okay, well, if a woman is going on a date with a guy, it's because she's open to being physically intimate with him. So you may go on 30 dates and you may be open to being physically intimate with them. That doesn't mean that you are going to, because you could meet them and you're like, oh, he's not really my vibe, not my energy. Yeah, he's attractive, but I don't feel this, right? 100%. But the hardest part for men is getting the opportunity with women. And that's the hardest part. So it's harder for men to get the date. Yes. Do you see what I'm saying?
Women simply have to exist.
To get it. They need to get
as long as you kind of fit the beauty standard, yeah, you just kind of...
I'll be honest, you don't even have to, because guy standards are not that high. They are not that high.
I don't know if
you don't have to fit any beauty standards.
You're right.
Women think that because women are in competition with each other, and they're like, these crazy beauty standards. The guys are like, yo, we'll have sex with anything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys really would.
I did a funny reel on that as well, saying that, and that got a bit of a...
Do you know what I mean?
Backlash.
So I think it's like, so you saying, okay, I'm not saying this is what you're saying, but I'm saying this is how it can appear to men. Essentially, the guys you go on a date with are the guys that you would be physically intimate with. So if you're going on a 31 first date, it's like, you're open to having sex with 31 guys in the space of a year.
That's just so mad to me.
Yeah, of course. And guys just value a woman that is sexually selective for something serious. So when it's like, okay, you date a lot, it's like, oh, okay, so there are many guys, this is what he hears, that you would have sex with. And guys are like, no, I want her to be selective, because then one, it's just the confidence that if you're dating that some other guy, it's harder for you to cheat because you're quite selective. That's what guys think about. And just makes him think that you're more loyal, to be honest. That's the truth.
I wondered whether it was anything to do with this whole chase thing that men like. It's almost a bit more of a prize to get a woman who isn't looking for a relationship. Is there anything to do with it? Or the fact that she's out there going, yeah, well, I want a relationship. That's almost like it's not an achievement.
Well, because I think most men I'm going to say no. Most men suspect that most women are looking for relationships. When I say that's the game, it's like there are more women going on dates looking for something serious than looking for something casual.
Yeah,
because a woman doesn't need to go on a date to look for something casual.
Oh, no. I say that all the time.
Exactly.
You could get sex any night of the week.
That's what I mean. You can literally text a guy. You could text a male friend that you know, be like, listen, I'm up for it. You're up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So most of the times you go on a date, you're looking for something serious. So, and guys know that. So you going, I'm looking for something serious. He's like, well, yeah, you and every other woman who goes on dates. That's why women go on dates, to look for a serious thing. So it's not like, and obviously part of the prize for women is the commitment.
Yeah.
Because men are the gatekeepers for emotional intimacy and relationships, and women are the gatekeepers for physical intimacy. So in that sense, it's a prize for you, but guys are playing a quote unquote different game. I don't mean like it's a game playing, but it's more of the approach, right? Because for guys, it's like guys want to get as much physical intimacy as they can without having to give the emotional. For women, they want to get as much of the emotional intimacy where they can without having to give as much with the physical. Now, when you have two people who are actually open to something serious, that can actually create a really nice balance, because you stay open to giving the other person what they want, but you're also pursuing something else, an element of the relationship that needs to be there for it to become a relationship. The woman's pursuing the emotional intimacy, the connection. You need that for a relationship. The man is pursuing the physical chemistry, the physical intimacy. That's what makes it a romantic relationship. So as long as you're both open to that and you're pursuing these two different strategies almost, then you have something beautiful. But you both have to be open to it. And you have to be open to giving the other person what it is that they want, and vice versa, right? It's about reciprocation. So when you say to guys, I'm looking for a relationship, they're like, yeah, you and every other woman out here. Duh. It's like a guy going, hey, I'm looking for someone that I can have sex with. You're like, well, yeah, you wouldn't go on a date unless you want to do that.
Looking for casual, I guess. There must be. I don't come across them too much, but there must be.
Yeah, I'm not saying there aren't out there, but I'm like if I had to have a guess of ratio in terms of women going on
I just feel like
dates,
you'd get lots in the comments saying, no, women do like casual sex too. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
They do, but like they're not, because going on a date for a woman, like you have to get dressed up. You might have to get childcare.
Yeah.
You might have to get there yourself, and then that's you being in public, dolled up as a woman. There might be some guys looking at you. There's more risk for women going on a first date, and you're meeting a stranger.
You are, yeah.
Right? There's more risk for women, so it's kind of like, and if you can get something casual just by messaging someone that you know, why put yourself out there for a risk for a man you don't even know, when there's a guy maybe you do know who maybe you've had a fling with before? It'd be like, yo, I'm feeling a bit horny, come over.
Yeah.
Because you know he's going to say yes.
A few things going back to the men assuming you have sex on a first date, it really highlights how different men and women are in what they're looking for. Because men are very visual. Men are very visual.
Yes.
Very, very visual. And all the women I speak to really care about the communication before the date, the consistency before the date, the planning of the date, his sense of humour. All of those things are adding to the attraction. Almost, the looks are almost, for most women that I talk to, quite far down the list.
I think it depends.
So when we're agreeing to a date, because you're seeing pictures, obviously you don't see much. So when you're agreeing to a date, it's not like, oh, that person's really hot, I would have sex with them. It would be...
But you would though.
All the other things, but not for many women.
No, what I mean is, I don't think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I don't think women would go on a date with a guy that they didn't find physically attractive to some degree. I don't think they would.
To some degree.
Like,
I tend to lean towards being a bit more of a sapiosexual, where, I'm sure you know what I mean, if you don't, where looks play much less of a part. It's all about intelligence. I love conversation. Yeah. I would say that I rarely
But
date.
would you match with a guy you didn't find attractive? I don't think you would.
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.